Hello everyone and welcome back to the video. In today's video, I'm going to be taking you on a trip down memory lane as we go over the 10 greatest Smash Ultimate tournaments in the history of the game. And just to set a little bit of context, I didn't start watching competitive Smash until around GOML 2019, and I didn't watch any international events, so you're not going to see any early European or Japanese events on this list. And I'm also going to be excluding Invitational just because I don't want the entire list to be crowded up by Summit. And with all those ground rules set, let's get right into it. I do have one honorable mention, and that is going to be Genesis 6. And the only reason it's an honorable mention is because it was before I started watching competitive Smash. So I don't have that nostalgia with it, but I can't deny how incredible the tournament was. It was the first super major of Smash Ultimate where you had international talent traveling to compete, including Zachary's historic run to 5th, where he was first introduced to the NA stage on a large scale. You also had Cosmos getting top 8 with Inkling, the only newcomer character to have success at the tournament. Neither Tweak nor Nairo, who had just got first and second at Glitch 6, made top 8. Void single-handedly cut Pichu nerfed on his run to second, but the main attraction has to be Leo's run to first. He beat Leffen, Myron, and Dabuz to make top 8. Lost to Samsora, then beat Light, Dabuz again, and Samsora in the run back to get to Void in the grand finals where he double eliminated him. And what's more crazy is he did it all with Ike, except against Light and Void, because he felt like he didn't need Lucina for everyone else. Genesis 6 for the tournament where Leo cemented himself as the best player in the world, a title that he held onto for a very long time. At number 10, we have Call SL, my favorite European major, for a couple of reasons. The first one has to be Bloom Forever, his first opportunity to prove himself on the big stage, and he does so emphatically. Even after getting upset by Nader Yu, who got top 8 at a super major in 2022 with Pichu, which is wild, but back to Bloom. On his run to 4th, at his first major event, he beat Longo, Lugi, Quick, Mr. R, and Europe's own king, Lutini. You also had absolute domination from Mexico, the top 3 being Chag, Meister, and Leo. And this was also the only tournament where Meister has been able to beat Leo, effectively putting his Corrin into retirement. But the best part of this tournament has to be the Leon Ditto, where Leon prevailed and ended the 1,000-year debate of which region is better, EU or NA. At number 9, we have Calgary B8, and I have one simple word for why. Losers runs, but with a dash instead of a space. You have Dabuz making a crazy losers run to 4th after losing to the Kai. You have both Riddles and Mia making runs to 7th after losing to Dio and Mediterra respectively. And you had Spargo making his losers run to 1st place after losing to Yara, winning 11 sets in a row. And those are just losers runs from people who made top 8. In winter semis, it was Bowser versus Pit, which is usually a match you don't see at any point in the bracket, much less top 8. And on the other side of winners, you had Aquila versus Yoshidora, one of my favorite recent rivalries in Smash, and it did not disappoint. We got to see Zachary playing against the new Age of Smash versus Zomba, Hero, and Spargo, which was super fun to watch, and the domination from Spargo in the grand finals versus Aquila was so impressive, becoming the first ever Invader in Ultimate to win a Japanese major. At number 8, we have my favorite SmashCon Fall Fest, though SmashCon 2019 was close. This is the only major we've ever had where all 3 species were in top 8. Jacko making top 8 by upsetting Dabuz, Kurama, and Light to the winner's side, while Tilde and Light made top 8 to the loser's side, Tilde getting wins on MK, Big Boss, Mars, and Cosmos, Light picking up wins on Aaron and Pinkfresh. And this top 8 had some of the most high-quality Smash I've ever seen. 8 of the 11 sets going to Game 5, and 5 of those being played by Light. Speaking of Light, his run to top 8 would not stop giving bangers. First, he went up against Mars, then Cola, and then MVD, who had eliminated both of his Spacey brothers. After beating all of those players in a Game 5 set, Light runs into his hardest matchup of the bracket in Meister's Game & Watch, and once again prevails in Game 5. In the Grand Finals, Light 3-0 Spargo in the first set, and the momentum completely switches in the second, Spargo winning the first 2 games. Both players were on the brink of winning their first major event, but whether it was the experience from Light or the nerves from Spargo or both, he couldn't quite close it out, and Light pulls off a reverse 3-0 to win his first ever major. At number 7, we have Calgary B8, which had everything you want in a top 8. You had established pros showing up, new talents making their first runs, and Meta Knight. Just shy of top 8 as well, you had Yes, who had won 8 sets in a row in the losers bracket, with Ike, which is unfathomable, even in 2022. Futari vs Yoshidora was one of the most ridiculous sets I have ever seen, and probably the only time we will see that matchup in a top 8 again. I'm manifesting. The highlights for me, though, were definitely the 2 gentlemen in Grand Finals, Abadongo and Mia. Abadongo made top 8 winner side, beating Latte, Mao, Kameme, and Yoshidora. Once in the top 8, he fell to Mia, and then whipped out the loser's bracket Meta Knight. And with that said Meta Knight, he 3-0'd Poto Bonham, and then beat both Ken and Shutone in Game 5 sets. But the Meta Knight nor Paolu was enough for Mia, who before this had a grand total of 3 tournaments attended. He beat Proto Bonham, Futari, Abadongo twice, and Shutone, not dropping a single set and establishing himself as one of the best players in Japan at his 4th ever tournament. At number 6, we have Evo, which I know is a little bit low for most people, but you gotta remember, at the time, I didn't watch the Japanese scene. The same scene that absolutely farmed this event. Every single top 8 qualifier had a Japanese player in it except for Light versus DeBuzz in losers, with Kameme, Nietono, and Abadongo barely falling short at 9th. However, once the top 8 started, NA did start to fight back. MKLeo eliminating Zachary in 7th and Raito at 5th. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, Raito, the Duck Hunt player, made top 8 winners side at EVO, beating Meister, Shutone, and DeBuzz. Once in the top 8, he did fall to both Gluto and Leo, but the fact that he made this run with Duck Hunt at arguably the hardest event in Smash history is mind-boggling. Our final Japanese player in the top 8 was Proto Bonham, who was the only Japanese player to take a set in top 8, beating Light before falling to Samsora. Whenever Tweak and Glutony play, it is an absolute banger, and their Game 5 set in Winners Finals was no exception. But the crown jewel of this tournament is unarguably MKLeo's 11-set losers run after falling to Kameme, beating Meister, Scat, Abadongo, Zachary, Raito, Samsora, and Glutony to make Grand Finals versus Rival Tweak, where he pulled off the reverse 6-0 and established the iconic Game 4 Leo in the most viewed set in Smash Ultimate history. At number 5, we have Main Stage 2019, which had the extra drama of being a Summit qualifier. This is one of the most dense Ultimate tournaments ever in terms of talent, with upsets out the wazoo, like Schroeder vs Samsora, which went to sudden death in Game 4, but not because of the time, but because both players died at the exact same time. T had a ridiculous loser run to 5th after losing to Light, beating Meister, Samsora, Glutony, and Mudes, only to lose to Light once again. MKLeo and Mars played twice. The first set Mars winning with Mega Man, but Leo did figure it out in the run back. Void also had his first ever top 8 at a major with Sheik, beating MVD, Mudes, Karama, and Salem, the Salem set being extra spicy. Mudes also got his first top 8 at an official major, beating Cosmos, Moxie, and DeBuzz. Speaking of first though, Nairo finally collected his first major win in Ultimate, beating Moxie, Void, and Light, as well as his Demon Mars to get him into the Grand Finals. And who else would be in that Grand Finals except for MKLeo? Bouncing back from his loss to Mars, beating Void in another very spicy set, as well as Light and Mars in the run back. Leo won the first 4 games of Grand Finals, but Nairo managed to stop his rampage, winning the last 3 games and securing his first ever major win in Ultimate. At number 4, we have Let's Make Big Moves 2022, and while the entire event was amazing, I'm only going to talk about the top 3, because oh my lordy Lou, it was incredible. In 3rd place, you had Mudes, who was coming into the weekend hot, with a 3rd place at CEO and a 9th place at Smash World Tour. He was able to beat Beast, Schroeder, Bonk Fatality, and DeBuzz. He was also the first player to even take a game off the eventual winner of the bracket, though 1 game was all he took. In the losers bracket, he lost to the only person in the tournament who was coming into the event even hotter than him, Cola. Cola had just won CEO and got 5th at Smash World Tour, and even after getting upset very early on by Choco Taco the Lucas, he made an 11-set losers run, beating Lavish, AOS, Angel, Quandale, Moxie, Psycho, Maiko, Quick, and that's just to get into top 8. Once in the top 8, he continued his fury, beating Fatality, Send, DeBuzz, and Mudes to make it to Grand Finals. And though Cola was able to reset the bracket, he was not able to defeat the hidden boss of the event, Quid. Being the 32nd seed, the fact that Quid made top 8 at all was impressive, but to actually complete the Cinderella run was something else. Quid actually benefited from Cola's upset, as he ran into Choco Taco and beat him 3-0 fairly early on in the bracket, and after that he also 3-0'd Moxie, Tilde, and Send. He dropped a game to Mudes but still made it into the Grand Finals, and though he dodged Cola the first time, he didn't get so lucky in Grands, the 1st seed versus the 32nd seed. The first set goes to Cola in a 3-1 fashion, and despite Quid never being in the Grand Finals of a major, or the top 8 of a major for that fact, he had nerves of steel, defeating Cola in a very fitting 3-0 fashion and winning his first ever major in the most unpredictable run in alt history. At number 3, we have another Let's Make Big Moves, this time the 2023 version. Aside from MK Big Boss, who ended up getting 7th, every single player in this top 8 was a major winner, so you know all these sets were peak Smash. Sonic's run to third was also unreal. After getting upset by MK Big Boss, he was able to beat Quick, Kronos, Cosmos, Riddles, Gluttony, and for the first time ever, MK Leo. You had top players dropping like flies in this tournament. Cola and Meister falling out at 33rd, Onan at 25th, Zomba at 17th, and even the previous Let's Make Big Moves champ Quid falling out at 33rd. But even with all these upsets and the general unpredictability of the bracket, everyone knew what to expect for the grand finals. Tweak versus Spargo. Both players had met in the grand finals of Main Stage and Scuff World Tour, Spargo taking both. Spargo made his run to winners finals beating Deathspade, Dark Wizzy, Armadillo, MK Big Boss, and Gluttony. On Tweak's road to winners, he was able to beat Squid Plumber, Jeja, Anathema, Riddles, and MK Leo. Spargo was favored as he had won their last 4 encounters. 3 of them were in grand finals, and the other was in winners finals, by the way. I can't overstate how wild that is. But this time, Tweak had the home crowd advantage, and after 2 Game 5 sets, he managed to beat Spargo and win the first Super Major of 2023. At number 2, we have Glitch 7, which is the reason that this channel still exists, by the way. That was the tournament where Dark Wizzy started his top 8 streak, where he would get 7th place at this event, beating Mr. E, Blazing Pasta, and ZD, as well as taking Nairo and Light to very close Game 5s. From then on, Wizzy started top 8ing everything, including DreamHack Atlanta, Let's Make Big Moves, Glitch 8, and Genesis, the best streak we've seen from a Mario player to this date. You also have Tweak getting 5th at this event, which usually wouldn't be something that I would point out, but this run was very special, as Tweak was playing Banjo. Now, it wasn't for the whole bracket, but he did use it to close out the last 2 games versus Dark Wizzy and took ESM to Game 5 with it. To this day, it's still the best run we've had from a Banjo player, and unless Toriguri pulls off something heroic, it's probably going to stay that way. The thing that made this tournament for me, though, was once again the finalists, Light and ESM. Light made it to winners finals by beating Mekos, Juice, Luis, and DeBuzz, and ESM made it to winners finals by beating Suarez, Leon, Nairo, and Tweak. ESM beat Light 3-1 in winners finals, putting Light into the lower side, but he was eager to get his run back, beating DeBuzz once again to make the grand finals. Both players were playing for their first major win in Ultimate and gave us one of the best sets I have ever seen. ESM coming out on top in a nail-biter Game 5 and winning his first ever major on the same day that Ash won the Pokemon League, which is just kind of fitting. And finally, my number 1 open major in the entirety of Smash Ultimate is going to be Genesis 7. The losers run at this tournament were plentiful, including Cosmos run to 13th, beating Spargo, Larry Lur, Send, and Shadow PR, Charlie the King's run to 9th, beating Dagpo, Elegant, and MBD, and Light's run to 7th, beating Salem, Bedgar, Cosmos, and Tweak. And while all those runs are impressive, the greatest losers run has to go to Gluttony. After getting infinite by Dagpo on the winner's side, Gluto beat Schroeder, Goblin, Bulby, Valor, Mutace, and Nairo to get 7th place. ESM also had a run to 4th, beating Charlie the King, Nairo, Bedgar, and Dark Wizzy before falling to MK Leo in a spectacular Game 5 set. But the reason this is my favorite tournament in Smash history all comes down to one player. And that player is, of course, the Genesis champ, Mars. On his way to the grand finals, Mars beat Bulby, Karama, Meister, ESM, and Samsora. And the player that met him in the grand finals was, surprise, MK Leo, who had previously failed to Samsora, but of course had made the run back. From Genesis 4 to Genesis 9, the only one that wasn't won by MK Leo was this very Genesis. Genesis 7 Grand Finals is and will probably forever be my favorite set in Smash. Even though it was just 3 games, they were all filled with spectacular moments, and Mars prevailed, being the only person to be able to beat the Genesis champ at his own game. And I thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Now, obviously, this is not objective fact. These are just my opinions, but I'm curious what your guys' top 10 looks like as well. And if you did enjoy the video, please be sure to leave a sub. I'd be down to do more videos similar in the style. Maybe we'll go over the best invitationals that happened in Smash history because we couldn't include them in this video. And yeah, that's all I gotta say. Sports been absolutely unreal, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.